We always need to articulate what is gone with what we will still have. Life is much more beautiful when we can manage these two realities, the past and the future, wisely. Even because the present, this moment we have now, is the two-stroke articulation. One that I don't have anymore and the other I don't even know if I will have. So this wisdom, putting me in the possibility of seeing my present time as an opportunity to make the past I had, with all the difficulties, with everything that was painful to me, and at the same time, not allowing what was painfully keep me from dreaming a better future. You, who participate in my life, so directly. You, who accompany me. You, who are my friend. I have increasingly reflected in the concept of friendship as a bond that fraternizes us. That puts us, even if we do not participate in each other's life, in everyday life, when we identify people who are articulating dreams similar to ours, in a time where there is so much war, where there is so much disagreement around the world, we find people who are making their personal effort to establish bridges instead of breaking them. Not allow prejudice to move us away from each other. That prejudice prevents us from meeting people who sometimes we judge badly. In a time when the world has been so cruel, we have reduced cruelty in the space that is possible to us. You identify people who are doing this too. This generates a friendship, a Christian fraternity. Even if another is there in Indonesia and me here in Brazil. Knowing that this man who loves in a different language with different customs is looking for the same ideals as me makes me friends with him. Even if we never attend to each other's house, looking at the brands of what we lived throughout this year, learning for what we can live from now on. I say again, the difficulty of my year was very great, but at the same time, so peaceful, so visited by hope. Because that is what God moves me. Living. I cannot bear witness to my faith if I am discouraged with life. As much tribulations I have had. Maybe you know, I have heard myself tell one of the tough episodes of my life this year was that my house has literally fell. A very strong rain in Tabate. The structure of my roof was not built as it should be to support a very large volume of water. Water entered all the conduit. I lost all the wooden floor. I lost the rooms. The ceiling from the plaster of the whole house fell, collapsed. It was a very sad thing. I remember I was traveling, and when I got home, Chica, I've seen it for the garden, I've seen that something very serious had happened. It was on March 9th. When the teak waited for me to get off the taxi, she hugged me already crying. I remember it as if it were today. She told me like this, "Please be calm with everything you will see." And when I entered, guys, it was a horrible view of seeing the fruit of your work, your commitment, your things, all destroyed. The house, that structure, that hitherto condensed affection, which was your resting place. There is no more. You can't sleep. You can't lie down. You can't sit down now. And suddenly the kitchen door was open, and in the midst of all wreckage, all of that destruction, all that dirt, who comes to me by the house, happy, not knowing what happened. Luca, my puppy. And it was impressive how God healed me through that creature at that moment, you know? He with those wide oleum, happy because I was coming home, not knowing the meaning of that destruction. Even though he didn't even know that it was destroyed. He just wanted to find me. His friend had been 15 days away, traveling, and was coming back at that time. He had no intention of looking at me with some look other than the joy of seeing me. I remember I sat on the floor and hugged that creature and cried everything I needed to cry. And it is as if at that moment God made me understand, by not understanding Luca of the tragedy, that life can always be beautiful since we find a reason. Even if it is small, for us to start over our story. What is a destroyed house? Anything. Is it a financial loss? And what we can't allow is that the house falls inside us. What we cannot allow is that the structure that supports us can crumble through the problems we face. I don't have a child to hug me when I come back. Maybe you have. You may have people who can mean all your disasters, all your tragedies at the moment you get home and hug you. And at that moment, Teek's hug was a livelihood for myself. But what God spoke in me through that creature, who does not understand anything about tragedy, to identify at that moment the voice of God speaking in me, just as I said to Francis of Assisi, through nature, through the animals, committed me still more, with everything I needed to drop inside me with that house. Because sometimes it's not just a falling wall, it's not just a roof that collapses, it's human structures within us that need to crumble. Our attachment, who knows? Our attachment to what is material. And suddenly, when I looked for all that we can materially rebuild, and I saw my friend who could not have been rebuilt if he had been killed, just as we look at a father, a mother, to a child, and you realize that it is not material that can be rebuilt. That if the disease takes us, if death shakes us, a wall you rebuild, a ceiling you tidy up, a gate that fell you get up, a garden that has been destroyed you rebuild. Now a person does not. A human being will always be the greatest preciousness we can have in history, in our personal history. The love we love, the forgiveness we give, everything we live in the daily lives of our house, with our parents, with our brothers, with our friends. At that moment, the hug of Luca, smiling look at me, told me that, glad you came back, full stop. Glad you are here, full stop. And then, after we find someone who tells us that good you are here, with a tail that swings, or with a voice that is possible to be said, how good you came, how good you arrived, good that you are part of my life. So we are on the right track. This year, I want peace in my heart. So let's do our part, right? I want peace. So I build the little things. I will build my relationships. I will close the doors that I need to close for everything that is harmful to me. I can have the courage to close doors, no matter how painful it is to close that door. Because I know that open door does not bring me peace. It is life change. New Year's Eve is a wonderful time for us to take stock. Trade takes stock. Trade identifies what gives damage and what not. And the good entrepreneur is the one who changes what is causing him damage. The good entrepreneur is the one who, the moment he takes stock of his company, his store, his vendina, finds that he needs to change some attitudes in his way of working, in his way of acting, so that he do not continue to bitter damage. The same thing we need to do through our effective life. Start paying attention to the relationships that we feed throughout the year. What is harmful to us in this relationship? Establish, score. Is it right? It's my right. It's your right to look at the structure of your life and have the right to change what you think will be better for your personal freedom, your way of being of God. Creating this peace. You, the builder of your peace. You establish inside your home the breakdown of these barriers that get us so away. I like to always say that. It is very easy for us to build gas bands indoors. It is very easy for us to separate our brother from our life. I say this to you through what I experience in my daily life. How hard it is to articulate affection in a healthy manner in a balanced way. Being too much loved is bad. Being loved less, is it bad? Peace is the moment we have established a bond that really gives us conditions to be who we are. I want peace in my heart, whoever wants to be. We can be friends. Yes. Friends of the word that unites us. Friend of the gospel that congregates us. Friends of the sacrament that feeds us. Friend of the meetings. Also, friend of intimacy. What we cannot give up is to establish this universal fraternity. We need to be friends of humanity. We need to feed on each other this feeling of respect that makes me look at each other with the respect it deserves. Not to feel entitled to invade what I can't or treat it with disrespect. To impose on him bales that are not his. This friendship is so beautiful, my people. When we find out that each one where they live, with the people with whom it lives, is locking the same ideal, fighting for the same ideal. We want to be better people. December 15th. And I followed, even without answering, because it is impossible. I followed the demonstrations of people from all over Brazil, saying, "Hey, congratulations on your day." I kept thinking about the meaning of so many people wanting to congratulate me that day, and I realized this delicate web that unites us, right? I am a priest who participates in the lives of these people. I am a priest who I am friends with these people without knowing that I am